Star Brethren!
Your number one source for everything Starbound.
Hello, I'm Camo, and welcome back to our Starbound progression guide. Last time we covered a whole bunch of stuff getting off the ship, basic crafting, crafting table, furnace, and all that good stuff. In this episode, we're going to get a little bit more into smelting, creating armor, and creating weapons. Again, as I said before, if you guys know anyone that needs some help or just needs a couple steps through Starbound, don't hesitate to share this video and definitely leave any feedback you guys have for me and questions down in the comment section below. Alright, so, like I said, last time we just got done making our furnace, but things are looking a little bit stark around us, so let's go ahead and make ourselves a home. Now, I want to make mine all fancy schmancy, and I want to make it out of wood, so I'm going to go and grab some wood. Darn nature! I mean, this is necessary. Alright, so I have just completed cutting down some trees, and when trees fall, they have a chance of giving you saplings, and those will appear either in your inventory, or they'll appear on your hotbar if you have room on it. When you go to select it, you get this little pod-looking thing. And if you want a tree to grow there, you just place it. And it requires dirt to grow. It doesn't grow on rocks and whatnot. I went ahead and collected myself some wood. I'm probably going to need to get some more, but you know what? I don't really care about having too fancy of a house right now. I want some wood planks to make my house out of. Make some of those. Now, when you place blocks, you hold left click to place them in the foreground, and you hold right click to place them in the background. Now you notice the size is changing. If you hold shift when you're placing, it goes down to 1 block. If you don't hold shift, it'll go up to a 2x2. So with that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and make my little house. Also, just like you can place things in the background, you can also break things in the background by holding the same right click, but without having anything selected. So just having the matter manipulator itself selected. Just right click and hold until it's broken.
I'm a lumberjack and that's okay. I work all day and I sleep all night.
Alright, so I've made myself a little bit of a home, but I think you guys noticed something's missing. We're missing some doors. Now, a lot of furniture that you will need throughout the game is also found inside the crafting table. I'm also going to need wooden platforms. Even though they don't need the crafting table, you'll be able to find them in here as well. You can make those without a crafting table. So, wooden doors. I am going to need 40 planks because I'm going to need 2 doors. Alright, I have my planks. Let's go ahead and craft our doors. Now, another thing that you can do is if you don't want to put them on your hotbar, you can just select them from your inventory and it'll put that on your active item, and then you can just place the doors. So now, we've got ourselves a little home. So let's focus back on the mission. If you go over here to quests, you can see the jobs that you have going on. Now this is the one where it's just talking about repairing the ship's thrusters and patching up the hull. That's the overall mission we have. Right here is what we really need to do. We need to make use of the furnace and smelt some copper ore to obtain a copper bar. So that's all going to be nice and deep underground. A lot of times, you can find yourself a cave that will often go deep enough to be able to get what you need. And in combat, now I'm using my left-handed weapon, which is a 2-hander. Left click is just to swing it, and this works for most any weapon. Right click is to block, and it'll block for a period of time. That's not me holding it. It'll block for a period of time. And then after that, you can't block for a period of time. So it blocks and then recharges. Block and then recharge. These little pills here give you what's called pixels, and pixels are the currency of this game, of the universe, of the Starbound universe. So as you can see here, not really going to be anything too helpful for me. And a lot of times you can see into the walls, which is extremely helpful. As you can see, I can see into that wall, and I can see that there is some coal right there. I'm gonna go ahead and collect these fibers since I'll need bandages down the road. Along your travels, you'll come across chests a lot, and in them is gonna be the most random of things. Sometimes they'll have weapons, sometimes they'll just have basic components. As you can see, this one's got bandages and wooden planks, and then if you use your matter manipulator, you can break it. You can also break chests without checking their contents. You don't have to take all the contents out of them, so you can just break them if you want to. Alright, so I kinda sorta derped out and fell directly into a cave. The exit is up there. I was just walking in the dark and I fell into it. So, we are still looking for some copper. Now, copper is a pretty good distance down, so if you can find yourself a cave, well, not really like this, you can typically follow it down and it's a lot easier to find copper on the walls. But I'm not really having a whole lot of luck with caves right now, so I'm gonna make myself what's called a Hellevator. It's a term that came from Terraria, where you basically build this long shaft that goes from the surface all the way down to the core of the planet. I'll show you what that looks like. I'm gonna make this Hellevator within the safety of my own home, which I usually recommend doing because otherwise the shaft could get flooded, because there are things like floods that happen. You can see from time to time water's falling off the side of that. So, a Hellevator is basically where you just go straight down. And this is very, very, very commonly used. And it's actually a lot easier to do this in Starbound than it was in Terraria because of the greater distances you can cover. You can jump much higher in Starbound than you could in Terraria. You'll eventually be able to pick up a matter manipulator. You'll be able to upgrade your matter manipulator to be able to pick up liquid as well, which makes digging, of course, a heck of a lot easier. What I'm going to do in the meantime, though, is I'm going to put up walls so that the water doesn't come down and flood me. So of course, as we go deeper and deeper, I'm just keeping an eye out through the walls and see if I can spot some copper. Copper has kind of a almost like a pinkish hue to it, kind of like a cross between a brown and a pink hue to it. We can go down here real quick. Oh, there's actually a bit of a pit right here. You want to be careful, you don't want to fall too far. If you hold the control key and then move your mouse around, you can actually look farther in a particular distance. I'm actually out of torches now, and I've made a big mistake. Make sure that you grab coal. Now, luckily, there's going to be a lot of coal down here with me, but make sure that you bring coal and platforms with you so that you can make sure you can make torches on the go, or just create a ton of them before you go. Alright, luckily I actually didn't have to go that far. There's some iron right there, and there's some copper right there. So once we collect this, for the sake of keeping the progression going, I'm going to head back up right after I collect this. Now I do something to get back to the surface that's kind of cheating. If you hit escape and go to save and quit, so long as there's nothing on the ground, you won't lose anything by doing this. So you just go back into your single player, select your character, it'll load you back in, and you'll be right where you were. If there was stuff on the ground, you'll want to be careful because when you come back, that's all going to be gone. So it puts you back on your ship. You just port back down to the surface. Alright, so once we're back home, we are going to go to the furnace, and we need copper bars. So we're just going to forge one bar, and it completes that. I'll need a whole bunch of copper bars to start building tools. A copper pickaxe will allow me to mine faster for a while. To make use of a stronger and more valuable ores, I need an iron anvil. With an anvil, I can prepare myself for the dangers ahead. I can make one with the crafting table. So again, we go into the crafting table. Let's see what this baby needs. Type in anvil, and it needs 8 iron bars. Each bar requires 2 ores, so that means we are going to need 16. Let's look in the furnace. How much iron do we need? We need 10, so let's go get some. Alright, so I've gone out and gathered the ore we need. Let's make our 8 bars, boom, and then go back into the crafting table and make ourselves an anvil. And an anvil is where you're going to make a lot of your weapons, a lot of armor. Weapons and armor, there you go. Just make them for myself. Finally, time for me to obtain 20 core fragments. I can obtain them deep underground near the planet's core. And those, like it said, are going to be deep inside the planet, so you're going to have to continue this Hellevator pretty far down. It's actually not that bad. So let's get started on that after we place the anvil first. And let's go ahead and place it right there. Alright, so as you can see, you can create a bunch of weapons. And then you can create some basic armor, you can create pickaxes, you can create a hoe, which you're going to use to cultivate the land and make seeds and get food. But we're going to go into that later on. For now, let's go get ourselves some fragments. Actually, first, I'm going to make myself a pickaxe, because those only require 2 bars now. It's actually a lot easier to make those than it used to be. Once you make yourself a pickaxe, of course, just put that in whatever slot you want to. And then once you're out of this, you just hit that number, and you have it right there in your hand. Let's go! Alright, after lots and lots of digging and several pickaxes, we have finally come to what the cores look like. Ooh. Oh, goodness gracious. You have to also make a lot of torches, too. So these glowing red things are the cores that it's talking about, the core fragments that it's talking about, and we need 20 of these. So we're going to take a little bit of time and gather these up. They can be a little bit harder to dig up, although the pickaxe does make pretty quick work of them, even just a copper one. As you can see, it does take a moment, but it's not that bad. This is one reason you'll want to use the control function to look around. That's what's directly below me. As you can see, I don't want to make the jump, so I'm going to try and find a way around it. Maybe I'll dig over here to the right. Yeah, I think that'll work. Alright, so it tells you when you have your 20, and it lets us know that we can now go up and do some repairs on the thrusters, but I'm actually going to save that for the next episode so that I can talk about the ship a little bit more for you guys, specifically once we've got things charged up, because you can do some cool things with your matter manipulator too. So, that has been this episode. Again, guys, if you have anyone that needs some help or just needs a hand getting things started, definitely don't be afraid to share my videos. If you have any feedback for me, please let me know. If you think I missed anything, let me know. In the meantime, guys, take care. I hope this video helped out.